I yelled at my husband for bringing a puppy home right after my 11-year-old dog passed away. I am not the oop. Oop is you, serious dog 29. I yelled at my husband for bringing a puppy home right after my 11-year-old dog passed away. Originally posted to R2 Hot Takes. Trigger warning. Loss of a dog. Dealing with grief. Less than. Mood spoiler. Optimistic for oop. Less than. Original post August 6, 2023. My German Shepherd dog, Roxy, recently passed away at 11 years old. Towards the end I was carrying her from room to room, and one morning I woke up to find that she had passed away during her sleep. Even though I knew that she was getting old and eventually she would die. Her death hit me extremely hard. I cried for days and depression took over my life. I still worked, went to the gym, etc. But I sometimes would forget to eat or shower in the morning, and my husband would make sure to remind me. I became visibly skinnier, but I still managed to show myself as happy and full of life when I went out with my friends or just went out in general. They did ask me if I was okay because I had just lost my dog, but I would always put a smile on and reply with, "I'm okay because I know she's up in dog heaven," or something similar. Only my husband saw my depressive side, and he was concerned all the time and tried to cheer me up by using his great sense of humor. One of the best qualities about him. He even brought over a 7-week-old German Shepherd puppy, who looked exactly like how Roxy did when she was 2 months old, from one of his friends whose female dog had given birth 7 weeks ago, and he must have seen the joy on my face when I played and cuddled with the puppy. Roxy passed away 3 weeks ago, and the visit from the puppy was 1.5 weeks ago. 4 days ago I went on a 2-day work trip. When I returned home, I was greeted by the same puppy that my husband had brought 8 days ago. My husband came to me with a huge smile on his face and asked how was my trip and everything. All I could focus on was the puppy, and I asked him what was the puppy doing here. He smiled even more and said that he saw how much I loved the puppy, so he bought her for $5,600 at a discount from his friend as a present to me. I immediately asked him, "Why would you do this? You know I'm not over Roxy. But you wanted to bring another puppy like Roxy can just be replaced like that?" And I went to the bedroom and slammed the door and burst into tears. The puppy had followed me, but I had closed the door before she could come in, and she was scratching the door. My husband told me that he was sorry, but he thought this is what I wanted. I yelled at him that he should have asked me first and to just leave me alone. I know that his intentions were good and he wanted me to be happy. But I loved Roxy like she was my daughter. I've had her since I was in high school, and she's been my rock and support throughout every hardship. She was also my protector who saved me from possible dangers, specifically from men. Even though she was a female dog, she was still very frightening when in attack mode, and her protection work was top-notch. I was still grieving and wasn't ready to connect with another dog. The next day I told my husband that I was sorry for my breakdown and that I was just still going through the grieving process. He forgave me, but he is still visibly upset at me. I wanted him to return the puppy, but I feel so guilty for yelling at him and that he spent so much money that I decided to keep the puppy. Relevant comments. Tangy Placebo 621. I say nah. I have been where you're at. I found my 10-year-old Boston Terrier. She has Cushing's disease. Had passed one morning, and I was beside myself. She was my best friend and was with me through a lot. My husband ended up getting us a puppy a few days after she passed. I didn't feel ready, but it really helped our other dog and my son. And I still have so much love for my dog that passed. But loved the puppy and loved him so much we got one more puppy recently. We still talk about our sweet girl that passed. But these new dogs in our lives do not take away any of that. Oop replied, I definitely love the new puppy and I don't look at her with contempt or anything, but I still feel like this is too early for me. I mean, I will be able to give the new puppy the same amount of love that I had for Roxy, but stuff like this takes time. Update August 12, 2023. So I kept the puppy, but not out of guilt. Someone mentioned that the same thing happened to them, but the new puppy was able to help them through the grieving process, and that's exactly what is happening. The new puppy has brought me so much joy and love over the past few days, and because she looks exactly like Roxy did when she was the same age. It's like reliving Roxy's puppyhood and being given a second opportunity to furnish her with the same amount of love. I wanted to name her Roxy, but I decided to go with Althea, which means healing, and I think it's the perfect name for her. I have apologized to my husband again for yelling at him and reacting the way I did when he meant well. He said that he understood that I was grieving and that dogs can't be replaced like cars. That he should have consulted with me first before bringing in a live puppy that requires a colossal amount of care. This is a repost sub IAM, not the OOP. Happy that the OOP is healing, but $5,600 for a GSD, and that was with a discount? Holy cow. Yeah, this guy got ripped off hard. That is not a discount or a friend. $5,600 American dollars? WTF is this? A post about how inflation isn't that bad. If she has to carry the dog from room to room, it seems like it's all about OP's quality of life and not Roxy's. I just feel bad for Roxy. She was in such bad shape that OOP had to carry her from room to room. But OOP didn't consider that euthanasia would be more kind to Roxy? I've had dogs die. Euthanasia is so hard, but it's the unselfish thing to do when an animal is in that much pain. Hell, I wish it was more widely available for people. I've had loved ones die too. My mom received hospice care for a year. And there's nothing noble or righteous in dragging out their pain and suffering once they're past the point of no return. The last 6 months of my mom's life were excruciating and pointless. I was the recipient of a surprise pet, and I still want people to stop giving others animals as surprise presents. My get-well gift from getting my wisdom teeth out is nearing 14, but will always be my little baby kitten. OOP's grief got me crying too, because she went through the same journey I did when my beloved Mega Chonk cat Kai passed away in May 2017. I was a wreck. I loved that boy so much and still miss him every day. After I had a few months to heal, I adopted 2 more cats. They could never replace Kai, but I could use his goodbye to say hello to them and give them as good a life as I gave him. It sounds like Roxy did the same thing. All 3 of the aforementioned living cats are still with me and snuggled up in bed with me as I type this. They live their very best lives. People need to stop giving animals as surprises. They aren't toys. They're massive commitments in terms of time, money, and emotional attachment. No one should have that sprung on them. If you want to give someone a pet, talk to them first and then pick out the pet together. TBH. I tend to get a pet relatively quickly after one of my own passes on. I feel awful doing so, as if I'm trying to replace them. But it absolutely helps with the grieving process. But that's just me. I don't want a dog to replace Roxy. She can't be replaced. Then, I wanted to name it Roxy in the next post. Lol. Losing a pet can be tough, and I know people who have lost pets and their grieving process is challenging. I'm glad Op and her husband work things out. But honestly, I don't believe pets should be given as presents or surprises. Pets need lots of money, time and attachment, and they aren't like presents you give for children and all. People should talk about it before considering getting a pet. There is no right way to deal with the loss of a beloved pet. Both Oop and her husband had their hearts in the right place with their actions. There are a gazillion GSD at the shelters plus on Craigslist where I live for nothing. This dude got hosed financially. Edit. This includes GSD puppies. If anyone is wondering. My best beloved senior. 18.5 years. Orange Cat PAASED away in June. My beloved first dog with my husband passed 15 days later. On my daughter's B-Day in late July. We went to look at puppies at the shelter. The puppies were not the right puppy, but my daughter picked a polydactyl orange kitten for me. She is the best kitten picker. Now I am the very anxious mama of the joy of my life. Boudreaux Boudin. It's been said that pets will give you some of the best days of your life. And one of the worst. My old dogs passed at 13 and 15 while I was away at my first year of university. It's been almost 2 years since then. But I still miss them. Especially the girl who I used to snuggle up against when I woke up terrified in the middle of the night. I can still remember her smell. And the thought of it comforts me. But my family likes our dogs. Home doesn't feel right without them. And my parents had already planned to get 2 more once the others passed. The one who needed it most though was our third dog. He was inconsolable after he lost what basically was his adoptive mother and grouchy uncle. We couldn't leave him alone because he would destroy things trying to get out of the house. But now he has 2 younger brothers who tormented him just like he did to those before. And in his world things couldn't be happier. Please don't surprise a person with a pet. It's not a good idea. TBH. He did kind of consult with her first. He brought the puppy over for a visit to see how she would react. He should have used words. But I can see how he would have been confused by her positive reaction and thought the plan was a go. I know. Not the point, but even though she was a female dog. How can you manage to be misogynistic about dogs? I'm one of the people that does better when I always have an animal in my life. I don't like having much time between pets. If any at all. I try not to get a new pet that reminds me of an old one. Getting a different color, breed, gender, or species of pet helps separate my feelings while allowing me to grieve with a furry or scaly friend by my side. You should never buy live animals as a present. Not a single dog tax?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.